party out here. Put someone out for good.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to my review for the classic 1988 horror comedy Beetlejuice, a film that is directed by Tim Burton and it stars Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Michael Keaton, Catherine O'Hara and Jeffrey Jones, as well as Winona Ryder. Now then, Beetlejuice. This focuses basically on Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's characters, who are happily married, living in their dream house, and then they die, come back as ghosts, and then they realise that they're going to have to try and coexist with a new family that has moved into their dream house. However, this new family are abhorrent in every way to them, and they're trying to destroy their dream house. So they look for ways to try and get rid of this family. And one of those ways is to summon Beetlejuice, played by Michael Keaton, who is an expert at getting rid of the living. Right, what are my thoughts on Beetlejuice? Well, this film is absolutely brilliant. I've got such vivid memories of going to see this at the cinema. Now, when I was a kid, we used to go on holiday to Wales, Rhyl specifically in Wales, and one of our holiday traditions was to go to the cinema one night, choose a film as a family, and we'd all go to the cinema one night. And this was the film that we chose when we were on holiday the year it came out. Now, I remember not being pleased about that. I don't remember what I would have wanted to see at the time, but I certainly didn't choose Beetlejuice. So I was, I was about 15, 16 years old when this came out. And I remember us going to the cinema and I was just blown away by this film. Absolutely loving it. And in fact, from memory, I think we went back the following night to watch it as a family. We all enjoyed it that much. Just a really original film, especially at the time. Tim Burton. Oh, now, I've got a lot of respect for Tim Burton as a filmmaker, and he's made an awful lot of great films. But also, in my opinion, he's made a lot of films that are just not great or just visually too identifiable to him. Sometimes you look at a film and think, yeah, it's Tim Burton. And I'm not sure at times he's evolved as a director as some others have, but at times he just knocks it out of the park with some of his films, and they're just absolute world beaters. And this is certainly one of them, one of his early ones as well. That is chocked full of memorable performances. Number one, even though from researching anyway, this isn't one of Alec Baldwin's favourite films. He wasn't particularly keen on his performance. I think him and Gina Davis are wonderful in the film. They've got great chemistry, playing like, these normal folks that are basically recently dead and trying to figure it all out. I think they're pretty good. They're like, the moral compass of the film in a lot of ways. Brilliantly, Catherine O'Hara and Jeffrey Jones just bring so much to this movie. Catherine O'Hara is like a whirlwind, like a comedy whirlwind, really. She was in so many films at the time, Home Alone and all that kind of stuff. Great actress, great comedy actress as well, and sometimes doesn't get enough respect. She's brilliant in this film. Jeffrey Jones, I've always been a huge fan of Jeffrey Jones ever since Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And he is the best thing in a lot of films that he's in. Howard the Duck. I know Howard the Duck kind of gets a bit of a bad rap, but he's brilliant in it, Jeffrey Jones. He's brilliant in this film as well. Playing this guy who's desperate to get away from all the stresses and strains of the big city and stuff, wanting to just chill out and relax and just not really getting the opportunity in this house. But we can't talk about this film without talking about Michael Keaton, obviously, playing Beetlejuice, who I think gives a career-high performance. I'm a massive fan of Michael Keaton anyway. I've done a top 10 list of my favourite Michael Keaton films, and it's no surprise to see that this is on the list. I do think he's an underrated actor, Michael Keaton. I always think he never gets the respect he deserves. He's starting to get a little bit more now, but has he just turned 70 or something like that? he should have got it years ago. And a lot of people forget as well that Michael Keaton started out in comedies. Much of his filmography in the 80s was comedy roles, like light comedy roles. And he initially turned this film down because he didn't get it. It took an awful lot of convincing on Tim Burton's part to convince Michael Keaton to take this role. And I've seen interviews on YouTube with Michael Keaton when he talks about he kept turning this role down. And then it just kind of clicked eventually. And I can't remember what it was Tim Burton said to him that made it click, but he did say something to him. And he kind of got it then. Apparently as well, Michael Keaton ad-libbed an awful lot of his lines, even though he's only in it. I think in total he's only in it something like 14 minutes or something. But boy, oh boy, does he steal the show. He's fantastic. He's hilarious. He's a screen icon in, really, I think, Beetlejuice, this character. Really fantastic, and he really, really does make the film so watchable and so much fun. Apparently as well, that some names, while researching, these are some of the names that came up in regards to the Beetlejuice film, in regards to getting the role of Beetlejuice, and these are all names that were bandied about: Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Christopher Lloyd, Jim Carrey, Tim Curry, Jack Nicholson, Bill Murray, and John Cleese. Those names were all banded around at some point for the role of Beetlejuice. Some of those would have been interesting choices for sure, but it's hard to envisage anybody else playing the character other than Michael Keaton. They've also as well been threatening to make a sequel for a long, long time. I would be so happy to see a Beetlejuice sequel. Never seems to materialise, and Michael Keaton, I'm sure, could pull it off still. It'll be a wonderful thing to watch, and I really, really do hope they get around to doing it. And another little interesting tidbit is apparently Tim Burton, as a joke, suggested to the studio as a title, Scared Sheetless. And he was horrified to find out apparently the studio was actually considering that as a title at one point, until he made it clear that actually that's not the case. It's a joke. I don't want that as the title. So yeah, Beetlejuice, 80s classic, fantastic. I watched this just recently, a few days ago, with my wife, who'd never seen it before, amazingly, and she didn't get it. Not really. I mean, she enjoyed some of the scenes in it and stuff, but she didn't get it, and she thought some of the effects were terrible. But I was trying to explain to her, well, they're purposely terrible because they had a small budget. That's kind of the charm of the film, really. But I do actually think it's aged quite well for the most part, this film. So yeah, brilliant film. Very, very strong 9 out of 10. 80s classic that I can watch still and enjoy it massively. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.